Is it enough to be a good person, to be a great leader? I think the answer is no. In the Odyssey, Homer, and to me, Homer's Odyssey, Odysseus faces all of the trials of a leader during his journey home. And one of the central chapters of Odysseus's journey is his choice where he must choose between the whirlpool and the monster, Scylla and Charbolis. And the gods tell to Odysseus that he must take a decision. He needs to go take the boat through a small pass. On the left-hand side, there is a whirlpool. On the right-hand side, on the island, there is a monster who can reach out. And if Odysseus chooses the whirlpool, he risks the whole boat. He may get through without losing any people and with the whole boat intact, but there's a risk that the boat sinks and the journey is over. If he takes the other path, the path near the monster, it's guaranteed that 2 or 3 of his crew will be eaten by the monster. And the gods tell Odysseus that he has to take this decision. Does he take the boat through the whirlpool, or does he take the boat near the monster? And he must keep his reasoning to himself. And to me, this is the type of decision that leaders have to face. And it doesn't matter how good you are as a person, this decision is going to burn you up inside if you cannot see the bigger cause that you're working towards. In the case of Odysseus, 20 years after this decision, when he finally arrives home to his home island, before he even goes to his house to greet his wife and his son, he goes to the home of the 3 sailors who were eaten by the monster to say that it was he who is responsible for their son not returning home. This decision has weighed on him for 20 years. So on the question, is it enough to be a good person, to be a great leader? I think it's necessary. A good person will lead you to getting more out of the people around you, will lead to the team wanting to give of their best when you are around. But it's not enough, because as a leader of an organization, all the easy decisions are taken lower down. The decisions that reach the top are the real value decisions, where there is no right answer, but you are responsible for the answer. And if you are a good person, but you haven't learned how to take decisions between 2 bad options. I was watching a series of interviews with George R.R. Martin, the author of the books that were turned into the series Game of Thrones. And what I loved about George R.R. Martin, he laughs about a lot of the great epic stories that we would have seen. Star Wars, as an example. In Star Wars, a good guy looks like a good guy and a bad guy looks like a bad guy. The good guys group together and fight for a cause. The bad guys say, I'm going to command this entire universe, and they use force to take it. They're dressed in black and they have faceless stormtroopers. And George says, this isn't real life. In real life, in the organization in which you work, in your family, in your city, bad people don't dress in black and walk around saying, I'm going to dominate. Good people don't walk around in white waving blue lightsabers and being kind. People all have a propensity for both good and damaging behavior. And what Game of Thrones is for George R.R. Martin, and for me, it's leaders having to take real decisions. And a real decision is a tough decision. There's a saying that a leader has to take the decisions that no one else wants to take. If a decision has a good and a bad outcome, a lower level person can take it. It's an easy decision to take. Where a decision has a bad outcome and a bad outcome, but yet you have to take it, this is when a leader needs to step up. And I think this is where it can really require a lot of support, a lot of energy, the development of a support team around you, a real connection to the purpose of your leadership, because these types of decisions are going to sit with you for years. For me, when my company TaxiJet was really suffering in the recession, having to let some of our employees go, that to me was some of the toughest decisions I had to take in life, because I knew it was arbitrary, but yet Conor Neill, was taking a decision who stays and who goes. And I had many sleepless nights thinking, who am I to take this decision? But yet realizing I have to take this decision. The only way that there is survival of the company to see the future and to maybe give opportunity back again if we can get through this tough time is to take this tough decision now. To me, this decision is summarized in Homer's Odyssey, the decision where Odysseus needs to decide between Scylla and Charbolis. So it's not enough to just be a good person. You need to know what your mission is, and you need to know you're going to have to take some real tough decisions that are not fair, that have an effect on people in order to get to your objective. So it's not enough to just be a good person to be a good leader. I think to be a good leader, you need to practice really understanding why you're here, the purpose. There's a saying from Viktor Frankl, you don't ask the world, what is my purpose? The role of man is to decide what is your purpose, to make a decision and live your life, and that your life demonstrates clearly to others your decision of what it is you are here to serve. This is our obligation as leaders, to decide what really matters, what values are so important that I will do what it takes to enforce them, because the decisions leaders need to take are the decisions where an Excel spreadsheet can't give you a good option and a bad option. You do all the analysis and it's one value against another value. And it's not fair, but somebody has to take that decision, and you as the leader need to have the strength to understand why you're taking a decision and be able to live with that decision. Certainly this is important in the people decisions. So this is Conor. Have a great week. Thanks for emails, comments, shares, questions, likes on the videos. Have a great week.